Hello, namaste everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is for Gemini zodiac signs. So if you are a Gemini ascendant or you are a Gemini moon, then this video is for you to understand how Rahu and Ketu's transit in the sign of Leo and Aquarius is going to affect you. Before that, if you guys are new to my channel, please subscribe it below and also hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates. Also, you can check out my website, and under the readings and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And under the courses section, you can buy your online course, and you are going to get fully assisted by me personally for all that learning of foundational astrology. Okay, so let's get started. Before I talk about the predictions for a Gemini zodiac sign, let me tell you, Rahu and Ketu are the nodes of the moon. They revolve around the moon. That's why whenever we judge the transit of Rahu and Ketu, it 100% is effective from the ascendant, but it is also very much effective from the moon. So I would ask you to first check this video if you are a person with a Gemini moon, and then refer to it as if it is your ascendant. So all you need to do is you need to check your ascendant sign and your moon sign, and you need to check your Rahu Ketu transit from both of it. Okay, so Rahu and Ketu are transiting in the third and the ninth axis for a Gemini individual. The third house is going to have the Ketu in the sign of Leo, and Rahu is going to be in the ninth house in the sign of Aquarius. So before we understand this concept, or we go, go towards this situation where Rahu and Ketu goes over planet, before that, let's understand what is 3 and 9 axis. So 3 and 9 axis is really, really important axis in our life. So whenever some planet, a significant planet like Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu, Ketu transits these particular houses, it activates situations in our life which are related to travel, education, public, uh, public, what do we call it? Oh, publishing, writing, and accumulating knowledge. Third house is the house of a person's valor, courage, how they interact with their close individuals, close people, close friends, close relatives. That is the third house. So for a Gemini individual, having Leo in the third house means these people are very close to the people they love. They are very open hearted, big hearted, and they are very emotional with the people they consider their family, and even this could be their siblings, right? So they usually have a very childlike relationship with their siblings, with their close relatives. Like, I am talking about those relatives which you consider as your immediate family. Like, there is a cousin of yours, you share everything with that particular cousin, you talk to them every day. There's a close friend of yours, there's a best friend of yours. That is the third house. Third house is also the house of your job situation. It is the house of your travel. Third house is also the house of social media. So whenever I see Ketu in the third house, I always suggest people to be very careful with their presence on social media. Try to be as, low as possible. You should not post online without thinking or giving it a second thought, because when Ketu comes into the third house, you will end up in a situation where someone is going to pick a fight with you. It can be in the neighborhood, it can be within your close friendship, with your sibling, or it can also be within, over the social media. Now, the ninth house. When Rahu comes into the ninth house, or you have Aquarius in the ninth house, so the way of thinking, the belief system of the people of Gemini ascendant or as Gemini moon, their belief system actually develops over time. You would see a Gemini individual in the beginning or initial years of their life when they are a teenage, they are an adult. Like before, I would say approximately like till 25 to 26 years of their life, these are the people who do not establish a proper belief system, who do not establish a proper stand of theirs. They are very adjustable, they are very flexible, or they get influenced very easily. So their belief system is like an air, right? Like the air element of the sign of Aquarius. Then soon, over a period of time, these people start getting the perspective of life. They start becoming more rigid with their belief system. They start establishing their own grounds with their beliefs. So when Rahu comes into this sign in the ninth house, trust me, Rahu can be a giver, right? But Rahu, specifically in the ninth house, acts as an obstacle for an individual in terms of their fortune and in terms of their mindset. It makes you do things which are about being an outcast, about rebelling certain situations in your life, about you rebelling against any sort of guru, any sort of mentor that you might interact with or you might already have. So Rahu basically is definitely going to make you learn. It is going to make you go into learning of some innovative subjects. It is going to make you go into planning of maybe if you want to start a startup, if you want to walk away from your job situation or your current work situation, because third house Ketu is going to detach you from your job. It is going to detach you from your existing workspace, and it makes you dive deeper into your skills. So Rahu and Ketu axis in the third and ninth is basically going to make you learn something which is based on research related to your skills. And it will be something which is either very innovative, or it is a out of the box study, which is not a common study to do. Okay, so let's just quickly dive into the charts. Sorry, not the charts, but the explanation through the chart. So now here we have Gemini 3, 4, 5. So here we have Ketu. Here we have so this sign is also going to be highly activated. I must have told you that in the Jupiter and Saturn's videos, and especially in the Jupiter's video actually, because it was directly aspecting that house. Then here we have Rahu. So Ketu being in the third house is going to aspect all the fire signs. Like it will throw its fifth aspect on the seventh house and ninth aspect on the 11th house. Wherever Rahu and Ketu come, they are the karmic planets. They bring in the bhog of your karma. They bring in the karma. They make you pay off the karma that you have carried forward in this life. That's why the transit of Rahu and Ketu is extremely, extremely important to understand and study, because it is going to show you that for the next 18 months, what is the loop that you're going to be indulged into? What are the two houses in which you will have the tug of war like situation, or you are going to roam around into those houses? So when Ketu comes into a certain house, it basically, its result is to detach you from that house. So in order to create that detachment, it first has to attach you towards that house. So it is going to be the third house. In the initial, you can say it is 18 months, right? So for the initial 9 months or 6 months approximately, it is going to create that attachment towards the third house. So you will feel more attached towards communication, towards online presence, towards learning, towards you will be interacting with your siblings, you will be interacting with your close friends, your friend circle, right? And then when Ketu comes into the third house, and then a little bit of time passes away, you will start having problems with your relationship with the sibling, with the neighbors, with the close friends. And because of that, because of what will be happening between you and those individuals, that is basically going to make you doubt your self esteem, doubt your confidence. Somehow you will feel so hurt that you will find it hard to be confident. Then the journey of Ketu starts. The journey of detaching yourself from it starts by attaching yourself deeply into it, by having a deep attached emotion with it. Like, for example, maybe you have Ketu transiting in the third house, and in your job situation, you previously were quite appreciated, you were quite valued, but now suddenly, because of someone coming into your job space, or someone is there who is not making you feel as if you are worthy, who is trying to do the politics within your workspace, who is trying to demean you or trying to be unappreciative of you. So this Ketu will then make you feel embarrassed, make you feel as if that my ego is getting hurt, I am not feeling well, and I am being underappreciated. I then the detachment and the dissatisfaction basically comes in, and then the transformation with the third house aspects come in. So you might want to take some time off from your job, or you might want to switch to another job, or you might get embarrassed and be left from your job. But trust me, this situation, I'm just giving you an example. Many people can experience this with the siblings, with their neighbors, with their close friends, or many people can actually experience this only in their careers. So it can be any of the situation, that depends on how your planetary placements are. But basically, this Ketu is going to actually spiritually align you and make you more confident than the previous, than how confident you were previously. So that's why it is giving you such events. It is actually acting as a catalyst, because something has to happen for you to go on your spiritual journey, to go on something, to trigger. There has to be a trigger point. Now this Ketu is actually going to create that trigger point. Now, that is the reason why it has the fifth aspect of Ketu in the seventh house. Now, this particularly means that you are going to go through the waves of emotions and waves of events where you will feel dissatisfied with your encounters with others. And those are basically going to lead towards you understanding how to deal with other people, how to understand the psychological side of the other people. It's like it is going to teach you the dunyadari. It is going to teach you the worldly matters. That is what Ketu is going to do. That's why it detaches you from the seventh and the 11th house, all the houses which are associated with your connection with people, with your interactions with people. And same thing is there within your relationships as well. For this time, you will be brutally honest, you will be brutally upfront, you will be straightforward. You're not going to entertain any BS from anyone out of nowhere. right? So because of this, you will have the detachment from the seventh and the 11th house as well. But this means that this Ketu, especially when it is about the fifth aspect, it is going to make you learn. It is going to make you learn about the creative side of understanding other people's psychology, that how you need to exist in this world, how you need to deal within this world. Also, it creates detachment from the spouse or from the love partner. It could also, this transformation basically could also lead to a typical transformation because of your interaction with the love partners. Maybe you are interacting with someone online, you have a long distance relationship, and this is the time when you guys are, not having a proper communication. The communication is suffering, because of which the relationship is going to be distant and will suffer. Okay, but definitely this does talk about that you need to have your patience. You need to have a philosophical approach towards your understanding of other people and your interactions with the other people. This is not the time for you to react and be impulsive, because those things are going to land you into problems, right? Sorry. So the ninth aspect. So, ninth aspect of Ketu basically goes into the 11th house. That means that this Ketu can give you fortune and unasked recognition. It can give you events where you are going to get the things that are meant for you as per your fortune. So, you will be able to get into a situation where you are appreciated for, for your skills, for your, because Ketu in the third house is also going to lead you towards research, towards enhancing your skills. So you will gain that recognition. You will be involved so much out there in, in just improving your recognition and presenting them in front of large population, right? So ninth aspect of Ketu is also going to make you learn about organizations, about large organizations, that how you need to be expressive, how you need to put your knowledge out, how you need to, so you're going to look for different ideas for that. Okay, so now next we have the aspects of Rahu. So Rahu in the ninth house makes you an outcast. It, one thing I've observed very prominently, when a person has Rahu in the ninth house as their natal placement, or when Rahu transits their ninth house, they just have a habit of repeating things. And, they have a habit of not listening to what the other person says. That is because they develop an attitude that I know it all. They develop that attitude that I know everything. I am the person who knows even more than what my teacher knows. So that could also make you rebel with either your father or your mentor or your guru like people. Okay. So honestly, I am a person who never considers Rahu as a bad planet all the time. Like all the time, I don't consider Rahu to be a bad planet until unless it is at a certain situation where it can act like that. But trust me, Rahu in the ninth house is a typical placement to deal with. It is a little problematic for the person himself or herself, but it is more problematic for the people who are join with you. Like, for example, maybe your spouse, maybe your children. That is more typical for those individuals. They are the ones who suffer because of this placement. And many astrologers or pundits would say this creates a pitrudosh as well. Right? So basically, Rahu being in the ninth house, it hinders a person's fortune. One thing I would suggest you and give you as a remedial measure for this Rahu transit in your ninth house, that would be that if you are choosing to withdraw from your existing work and start something new, or maybe you are trying to, look for a job or something like that, I would suggest you to go for commission based work. if you go into something where you either have to make a person learn something and you earn your money out of it, you have to give them an advice, you have to earn out of that, you have to do the commission work. Even if, for example, you are a car salesperson, this is actually a placement with an excellent car salesperson, a person who, by selling cars, can actually selling cars or selling something like a markets person, is going to actually earn a ton amount of money. I remember an individual, that individual's ascendant was something else, but I remember I interacted with them constantly for 18 months because of the Rahu Ketu transit. Like, they were very cautious about each step that he wanted to take. And I remember him telling me that he was based in Canada, and he used to work under a company where they used to sell the Mercedes Benz, right? So he was in that company, he was the salesperson, and just by selling those cars, he was able to earn a good, trust me when I say good amount of money, and that he was able to actually have two homes of his own in Canada. So that was a huge thing. And then I saw his Rahu basically came over Venus in the ninth house for him during that particular timeline when he was able to generate so much amount of money. So this is also my suggestion to everyone who has Rahu in the ninth house in their natal charts, natal placements, that you should definitely always go for commission based work. Okay, that is the only way you can earn ample amount of money. If you think that you are going to invest your money somewhere and then get fruits of it, trust me, that is not going to be the case. Either you earn from commissions or you earn from explicit sources. Like, I have even seen people gambling with this, and sometimes they are into huge debts, trust me. But sometimes they might get a lot wealthier than before as well. But I'm not promoting gambling, let me tell you that. I'm just sharing my experience with the clients that I have had, right? So, Rahu being in the 11th house, it is going to aspect the first house with this with its fifth aspect, and the fifth house with its ninth aspect. So first house, when the fifth aspect of first house comes over the first house, it is again going to make you learn about tech, about research, about skills. It is going to make you a person who will, for some time, who will definitely be very obsessive. Okay, who is going to be very obsessed about knowledge, information, and even for acting upon things. Okay, so that is also something there. With the fifth aspect on the first house, a person tends to learn very innovative skills. And also, this makes a person very romantic for some reason. So they are going to look for the romances, they are going to look for their encounters with the females, males, whomsoever you are interested in, right? And it can even make you quite dramatic for that while, right? Now, the ninth aspect over the fifth house. So ninth aspect of Rahu makes you learn something with an outcast behavior or a rebel behavior. It makes you learn something which is beyond the scope of the society. So that is again that you might do something in, like, not you might do something, but you might have this sort of a situation in your romantic life, in your romance, into your love life. And it also makes you become very strict with your children during this time. And you will have the most transformative relationship with your children during this time if you are a Gemini ascendant or a Gemini moon. You will try to see the thing with Rahu is Rahu itself, like for example, if you are a person who has Rahu in the ninth house, you are going to be a person who would desire the maximum amount of freedom. But on the other hand, you will not be the person to give that freedom to the other people. Rather, you will become rigid with your approach to giving freedom to other individuals. So that is the reason why Rahu's aspect on the fifth house is going to create something like this. But of course, if the Venus is well placed, if Venus has the good association, it can even be the opposite. It can even mean that you help your children to go way beyond the society, to follow what they want, to fulfill their wishes. It could even act that way. But it definitely means that you would want to balance your relationship with your children. It is also going to indulge you into speculation. It can give you sudden gains from speculative investments. Okay? So now let's quickly go over the planets. So suppose if we have Sun. So if you have Sun in the third house, that is the Lord of the third house, it detaches you from your self ego, from your self-esteem, from your prideful nature, from your arrogance, in fact, as well. Sun being in the third house and Ketu coming over it detaches you or gives you a cut over your ego or over your self-esteem, over your respect as well. So you would experience a sort of a pain through your ego. But this is going to transform the way you react, the way you reflect your ego in the front. It will make you dive deeper into research and maybe occult. It is going to make you work on your skills, going to make you make efforts by bowing down. Okay, so it basically transforms a person's ego. And when Ketu comes there, you might be lashing out in the beginning, but by the end of this transit, you become a person who has that humility, who has that groundedness, who is um quite of a giver, who is respectful. And this is something very opposite happens when Sun is in the ninth house and Rahu comes over it. Then this is a individual whose ego is going to be overblown. This is also a timeline where your father's health would suffer. Your father has to take good care of their health. It could make you rebel from your father as well. It makes you go very high on your ego, makes you very reactive of your temper. And also it will make you do something because of which you will get infamous. You will have to deal with your image in the public because of that. Now, it is the third lord, and Rahu is coming over it. So it will change the way you communicate. It will change the way you make an effort. It could be there that you might have made a very huge gesture. Previously, you might have been a person who has been very much scientific with his communication, with his research, with his knowledge accumulation. But when Rahu comes here, the way you express, the way you reflect your courage, the way you learn, that is going to change intensely. It could even give you complications with your job or with your career. Okay, so things are going to progress in a very wavy manner when Rahu comes over Sun. But for some people, it can even let them have fame with this placement. Okay. Now, next we have Moon. So when Moon is in the third house in the sign of Leo and Ketu comes over it, this is basically a time where you are going to transform completely. You're going to transform the way you react, the way you connect with anyone when it comes to your emotions. It detaches you from your younger sibling and from your close friends because of your reactions, but you are at the same time are going to be very sacrificial. For you, it is going to be the extremes, as in either you're going to be totally in contact with your with all those living significations of the third house, the living people of the third house, either you are going to intensely be involved and be a sacrificial giver to them, or you are going to simply totally detach away from them. You're going to just part your ways from them. Because Ketu here is going to act as an extremist, and coming over Moon, it would give you extreme thoughts, extreme belief system. And that is something which is going to lead you towards spirituality. This is a time which is highly spiritual for you. It is going to make you feel that, that sword into your heart, that fierceness in your heart. Okay. Now, if Moon, and of course, when Ketu is over Moon, this first attaches you a lot with your emotions. It makes you a very deep thinker. It also gives you depressions for some durations in between. But once it goes away, it makes you understand what life is about, understand how to live in this practical world, and that's why it transforms your emotion. It gives you the wisdom to interact with the world. Okay, that's why you start detaching, or you can say you become very practical with your approach towards your emotions with others. Now, if suppose Moon is in the ninth house and Rahu comes over it, this is the second lord coming into the ninth house, and Rahu is there. You might have to exhaust your savings, maybe for traveling. Like many students go from here to overseas, and then they take debt, or they exhaust their savings and put it into their um, education. This does show that you want to do something innovative, either through education or through your career, and you are willing to put your savings into that particular business idea or that particular study of yours. So that's what it shows. Rahu over Moon gives you a lot of expenditure, makes you an emotional buyer or an emotional, spender, right? So Rahu coming over Moon also amplifies your emotions. It amplifies the way you connect emotionally, and your emotions are all over the place during that time. Okay, this can also give some complications or a major transformation within your family, and it could even give health complications to your mother. Because since you have been through your Sadhisati, at the same time, now you have Rahu over your Moon. Okay, this could change your mindset extreme, like it would transform the way you connect yourself emotionally. It will give you confidence, definitely. It will make you grow emotionally because earlier, for especially people with Aquarius moon, they have not been that confident. But now you'll be confident with your choices. You'll be confident with what you need to do. Okay. Now, next we have Jupiter. Suppose Jupiter is in the third house, it is the lord of the 10th and the 7th house. Ketu coming over it. It detaches you from the spouse, from the partner. It basically can detach you or create a distance between you people. It wants you to spiritually connect yourself with knowledge, wisdom, and mythological knowledge. This Ketu coming over Jupiter is going to detach you with a significant person in your life. And that is going to be the reason why you are going to align spiritually, why you are going to go towards spirituality. Jupiter in the third house in the sign of Leo. These individuals are very boastful in nature. They have a habit of announcing things. They have a habit of showing more than what they have, exaggerating, boasting. So when Ketu comes over it, it gives you harsh lessons. It can create a problematic situation either within your family or within your spouse's family and between the siblings. Either you get detached from your siblings and relatives, or it's within the family that there is some sort of issues with maybe inheritance that they have to experience, because of which there can be complications. But it definitely gives you wisdom of lifetime. It gives you huge wisdom and understanding of what life is truly about. Jupiter is a flamboyant planet. It is not it is not a sadhu person. It is not a sadhu personality. It's rather a very opposite side of it, right? Jupiter can even be very materialistic. So I would suggest for these individuals to not announce things, not boast their wealth, not boast about things. Be as grounded as you can, because that is what lesson you're going to learn. If you already start following it, the journey can be more easy. Now, if Jupiter is in the ninth house and Rahu comes over it, Jupiter is the lord of your seventh and your 10th lords. Right. And of course, with Jupiter, being in the third house, there can be a significant research or training you have to take in regards of your career. You have to enhance your skills so as to do that, you'll have to dive into some research subjects. And now with the Jupiter going into the ninth house and then Rahu coming over it, it can give you marriage. It can give you the situation, with your career, it can make you go for higher learning. With your marriage situation, it can make you interact with partners or multiple partners and then land to the partner which with whom you are meant to be. Okay. But definitely, this is a time when you would feel that you want to learn something and make people learn something which is beyond the scope of of the society and which is highly technical in nature. Okay, this could even give opportunities to your spouse for their career. This can be a good transit if you are planning to go into mentorship. Okay, now next we have Venus. So if Venus is in the third house, again, I've always talked about it. Venus in the sign of Leo and Ketu coming over it, it definitely detaches you from a relationship. It makes you go through through a heartbreak. It can even detach you from the relationship with your friends or with your close family, your siblings. This is a time when you feel very disconnected, when you want to isolate yourself. This is the Lord of your 12th house and your 5th house. Definitely a breakup through love. And that makes you go into isolation, into hibernation. It's like you become a polar bear. You just sit, eat, sleep, cry. Polar bear doesn't cry, but you cry, and then you go back. You go back to sleep, then you wake up, then you do this. So it makes you go into hibernation, and then this is because it wants you to learn the reality of what love is. It wants you to learn that how much you should indulge into love, how much you would let this love affect you. You would want to travel to isolated places. You would want to travel because you're not feeling good at heart. This would also make you dive deeper into creative subjects, even healing subjects. This is the time for you to heal. You might you might revisit a situation with someone from the past through a communication which would not lead to something solid, but it just talks about you going towards that communication, you know. Okay, Ketu coming over Venus being the 5th and 12th lord, you would want to research about either mythological knowledge or shares or speculative investments. All of and you would there's a lot of flashbacks that you're going to have regarding the past. There are going to be sleepless nights where you are dreaming, you're intuitively feeling very high, very in tune. And by the end of this time, you would feel the importance of having a good nutrition, having a good body. Like, you know, that I can and you know, I'm thinking of a situation where you know, a guy or a woman, you know, you go through a breakup, you go through that move on phase, and then you get back, you know, you are like, you beautify yourself, you go to gym, you diet, you become slim and trim, and you just you know, you become back on your feet and even more beautiful than ever. That is the kind of situation I see. Okay, so if this Venus is in the 9th house and Rahu comes over it, definitely an enjoyable time for you. Enjoyable time where you definitely want to connect with so many people. You want to be high on your libido, on your love thing. But this transit, in fact, is also going to lead you towards spirituality, but it is going to be very, very difficult for you to actually go into spirituality. Although with Ketu, it is going to be far more easier than this Rahu over Venus. You would want to have all the luxuries of life. Would want to experience love, lust, everything. Because with Venus being in the sign of Aquarius, you have been an introvert since very long. You have been a non-expressive person who has not confronted their love situations. But now you'll be like, oh my God, bring it on. I want to experience that side of love. So, what happens is your 5th lord is basically coming into the 9th house. You would have a long distance relationship, and it can also mean that you would have romance. You would definitely have romance with this person who might be foreign in nature, or who might be living foreign, or will be at a distance from you. This also shows that you will be sexually involved in the relationship as well for the duration that you guys meet. I know there's a distance, and you'll be like that if there is a long distance, then how it can happen. So in the intervals when you'll meet, then of course, right? So that's what it shows. But it definitely shows a time period where you are least concerned about spirituality, you're least concerned about thinking that it towards that side of life. You are totally in the materialistic side right now, and you want to you know, just understand that. It could even separate you from your spouse or from someone from your family as well. Maybe you travel, you go and travel at a distance, you start living at a distance, there's a separation. And it also means that your love partner with whom maybe you will have a love encounter is living at a distance. So they come and they separate from you, they go back, then they come, they go back. Something like this is going to happen as well. Okay. So now next we have Mars. So now with Mars in the third house, Ketu coming over it, be very careful of your fights and vehicles and driving. With Mars in the third house, you have been very providing towards your siblings. But now Ketu can create a fight between you and your siblings, and that could be because of money, real estate, or and the assets of the family. Definitely there's a detachment from the siblings, right? And that could definitely be because of issues related to property, money, assets. There could be conflicts within your work environment as well. With Ketu coming over Mars, you're being, in your own world. You're being very lazy at work, because of which they are not appreciating your presence right now, although they would have appreciated it previously because of the actual placement that you have, Mars in the sign of Leo in third. You have been an excellent negotiator, excellent representator, but for now, there's a big transformation you will experience with your courage, with your interaction, with your management skills, and with your communication. Definitely, you will be overly dominating. You'll be like a person who is picking on fight every single minute with everyone. But of course, this talks about that once you detach yourself with all those selfish purposes of yours, you are going to gain what you have desired all your life. It's like you're not asking right now that your desires get fulfilled, but naturally it will do. There can be a detachment from the elder siblings as well. And same scenario happens there because you are getting your sixth and the 11th lord in the third house. Definitely take care of your health as well. Your health can also take a toll. Okay, this can also affect the health of your mother also. She also has to take care of her health. Okay, this could even call for surgery, either your mother's or of yours. Okay, but of course, you need to see your planetary placements for this. This is not solely going to decide if whether or not this happens. Now, if Mars is in the ninth house and Rahu comes over it, this is the lord of your sixth and your 11th house. This is rather very opposite to it. You become a person who is going to initiate all those innovative ideas, who is going to work for out of 24 hours, who's going to work for 15 hours, who's going to work for 10 hours a day, like who's going to become very workaholic. And this individual will unknowingly create a lot of enemies, and you have to deal with your hidden enemies, and your hidden enemies can try to harm you as well. Your hidden competition, your hidden enemies, and even you are right now projecting that attitude within your workspace, because of which you are being in the eye of everyone. This also makes you gain through a distance, gain recognition from a distance and from foreign sources. This also will make you learn a lot about management, a lot about knowledge, innovative technical knowledge. Like for example, an architect is going to practice under someone, they want to learn more, something like this. Okay. Again, with Mars in the ninth house, Rahu coming over it, your father's health can be disturbed. Even your mother's health could also get affected. So you will have to take care of their health, of your parents. You have to be a provider to students or to someone, towards whom you will act as a mentor. Okay, so that's what we see with Mars. Now, Mercury. Now, Mercury being in the third house, being the lord of the first and the fourth house, and Ketu coming over it, this talks about your typical transformation, the transformation of your physical self, the transformation with the way you communicate, the way you express yourself. You would have been a person who is very jolly in nature, who's always smiling, who's always making people laugh, but for this time, you would see that you shut down. You get judged, you get overly analyzed for your communication, for your skills. This is the time when you dive deep into technical creative skills and you bring out that creation. You basically are going to rebuild your confidence with your knowledge and your skills. Okay, this is the time in which I would specifically suggest you people to be very careful of what you post online and how you communicate with friends online. This can make you detach from the friends as well. This can make you separate from your friends as well. Okay. Then if Mercury is in the ninth house, it's first and fourth lord in the ninth house, and Rahu is coming over it. All of you who were thinking or who were waiting for their PRs, this could be a time when you will receive that PR of yours, or you would settle at a distance. You would separate from your home. You're going to transform because of a lesson that you receive through your luck, through your fortune, or through a higher, through a life lesson kind of a situation. Okay. So that's about it. Okay, so Mercury, Rahu coming over Mercury always creates anxiety in an individual. It fastens up the nervous system of an individual. So they definitely, whenever Rahu Ketu's transit come over over your Mercury, you would experience some problems um with your nervous system, right? So it could trigger anxiety, it could trigger panic attacks, it could even trigger you trying to take a hold of your nervous system. Something related to the nervous system gets affected whenever this transit happens. Okay, now next we have Saturn. So Saturn is the lord of the eighth and the ninth house for you. And if suppose Saturn is in the third house and Ketu comes over it, your relationship with your in-laws is not the best that you would expect, right? Ketu coming over it shows that you now just either have to just take care of your in-laws selflessly without even, you know, uh, like putting aside their attitude, and you have to take care of them, or this means that this is the time for you to just work selflessly. This is not the time for you to be a person who is non-negotiable or non-compromising with their communication, with their efforts. Rather, this is the time when you will have to compromise, you will have to be sacrificial, and you will have to work so hard. You would either, this is also a situation where you will also choose to go for labor work. You would be like that, I need to be occupied with work because I want this much amount of money, I want this much things with money, something like that, something of that sort is going to be created here. um this Saturn, this Ketu coming over Saturn also makes you align spiritually and also into spiritual knowledge like occult, mythology, things like this, right? So this can be a very difficult placement to deal with when it's about a person's personal relationships, also with the siblings, with the neighbors, with anyone in their workspace as well. But at the same time, this is a transit which will first detach you from your current job, maybe your current work, and then attach you to several jobs or several work. Like for some time, even you can be ideal. So it naturally depends on what placements do you have. For some people, it might not cause detachment from the existing job, but it would cause just the hard work towards the existing job. So anything out of it could happen, but you need to look into your own alignments. Maybe the Saturn is conjunct some other planet. Maybe the Saturn is receiving aspect from other planet. Maybe you are going through a certain set of dashas like Mahadasha, Antardasha, Pratyantar. Okay, so if Saturn is in the 11th house, it is the lord of your 8th and the ninth house, right? So it's not 11th house, the ninth house. So if your Saturn, being the lord of the 8th and the ninth, is in the ninth house, this means, and Rahu comes over it, now it's like a time where you would feel that everything is happening for you, but the moment you tell your things or events that are about to happen to someone, they don't happen. It's like the fact, it's like the nazar thing is happening with you. So I would ask you to be as secretive as you can. This Rahu is going to play with your mind. This Rahu is definitely going to play with your beliefs, with your belief system, with how you interact with people. It is going to play with all of that. So this is the time when you understand that uh when you basically try to pull yourself back into something positive, because otherwise this can take you in a very extreme negative zone, right? Whenever Rahu comes over Saturn, I also have seen people excel